Today I'm going to be making ham and bean soup. This is a delicious and hearty meal that cooks in one pot and serves in one bowl. I don't have a specific recipe that's set in stone for this soup. Each time I make it, it's a little bit different. Here's how I made it today. Now, in my opinion, using dried beans is the best way to make a good bean soup. I prefer the texture and flavor of beans made from scratch, but of course you can use canned beans. That would still be very, very good. And soaking gets the rehydration process started in the beans and reduces your cook time, and it also gets rid of some of those oligosaccharides that are in the beans. Those are the big sugar molecules that we eat that cause us to have gas when we eat beans. But if you drain off the soaking water, and then later we'll drain off the cooking water, we'll get rid of most of that stuff, and this will be a gas-free bean soup. So in the pot they go, and I'm going to cover them with enough water to have all the beans covered by at least a couple inches of water. I'm going to put that burner on high and bring those up to a boil. And once those beans have come to a boil, I'm going to turn the heat down to like medium-low. These beans are going to simmer on medium-low for about an hour and a half. And an hour and a half later, these beans are fully rehydrated and cooked. They are tender. I can squish them with my fingers here. So it's time to go ahead and drain off that liquid. You don't have to drain off this liquid. There is some flavor in there for sure. But like I said before, we're draining off all those oligosaccharides which are in the beans. But if you want to leave that in there, by all means, go for it. It doesn't hurt anything. And I'm going to set the beans aside for now and go ahead and put a little bit of oil and put the ham into the pot and get that started. And this is the ham I'm using today. This is a ham that's been in my freezer for a while, so that's kind of why I'm using it to make soup today. Today is February of 2023, and as you can see the date on that ham, it's been in there a couple years. It's time to use it. And if you were looking at the label closely, which I wasn't, you would have noticed that the label said this is a sliced ham. And I didn't realize that, but that's okay. I'm gonna dice it up anyway. I was kind of going for some, half-inch chunks of ham in the soup today, but I think what we'll end up with is some little sheets of ham, which will still be very good. So I'll just dice up this ham like I normally would a whole ham, and we'll see how it turns out. I'm sure it'll be good. Next, I'm gonna prep some vegetables. I'm gonna go ahead with this yellow onion. Just a rough dice, just a rustic large dice on this onion. In the pot with the ham it goes. Next is some carrots. We like to eat a lot of carrots in my house. It's one of the vegetables that my son likes to eat, so we eat it quite a bit. I'm going to dice up these carrots into little half-inch size pieces that can fit on a spoon. In the pot they go. And let's bring the beans back into the party and put those back in the pot. And I'm going to add some water till everything is just covered with water. Give that a mix up. Now we're starting to look like a soup here. This is looking pretty good. And this is going to be all for the main ingredients of the soup. We've got our ham, beans, onions, and carrots. And so now it's time to add some seasonings. I'm going to start off with some freshly ground pepper, lots of pepper. I'm going to put in some minced garlic, or garlic powder would be good too. I like to use minced garlic in soups just to see those little pieces of garlic floating around in there. I think they give good flavor too. Next is some body of complete seasoning. I use this a lot. If you watch my videos, you've seen me use it quite a bit. It's just a real good seasoning that's good in just about everything. If you haven't tried it before, you might want to consider giving it a try. And a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. And a little bit of mustard too. I'm just winging it here, just kind of putting in whatever I think is going to taste good. And give that a little mix up. And let's see what else. What else would be good in here? How about some tomato paste? Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Mix in that tomato paste real good. Ooh, that's looking pretty good. What else? What else? Oh, I've got some split peas in the cupboard. I think that would be pretty good in there too. I'm just going to go ahead and dump some of these split peas in there. They don't take very long to cook, but even if they did, I'm making this at about noon on a Sunday, and this is going to stew all afternoon for us to eat around 6 p.m. that night. So once this soup gets up to temperature and gets up to a good simmer, I'm going to turn the burner down to like medium-low, and it's just going to stew there all afternoon until it's dinner time. Alright, several hours later, it's dinner time. I'm going to get some bread ready to have with this soup. This is my absolute favorite bread. It's called Izio, and it comes from the grocery store in a package like this. It's not frozen, it's just on the shelf fresh, but we buy it and we keep it in the freezer at home. And besides being delicious, probably the thing that I like most about this bread is that it's made with just simple ingredients. It doesn't have any preservatives, and you can pronounce everything that's on this ingredients list. It's made by a relatively small bakery in Louisville, Colorado. And there's the website there if you want to go there and see if you can find it in your grocery store. But as the label says, you just pop it in the oven for 7 to 10 minutes and boom, you've got some crusty on the outside, soft on the inside bread that goes great with the soup. And speaking of soup, let's take a look. As you can see, after 5 hours of simmering, we've got a nice dark color here. It looks like the peas have kind of made it a little bit green, which is kind of interesting. I wish YouTube had smell-o-vision because this video isn't doing the soup justice. This is some good smelling soup right here. And usually when we have a hearty soup like this is the whole meal here. I'm just going to fill the bowl all the way to the top. Doesn't that look good? Like I said at the beginning, this soup is a little bit different every time I make it. It just depends on what ingredients I have on hand and what I feel like that day. This is how I made it this day, and it was delicious. I hope you found that useful. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. See you on the next one.